It all started when I lost my dad. He was my world, the kindest, strongest man I've ever known. My mom passed away when I was a kid, so it was just the two of us for the longest time. Then, a few years ago, he met Vanessa. She was, stunning, the kind of woman who turned heads wherever she went. But there was always something about her, something that felt off, like she was playing a role. At first, Vanessa was all charm. She treated me like I was her own son, or at least she pretended to. But after she and my dad got married, her mask started to slip. She'd make snide comments, act like I was in her way, but Dad always brushed it off. He thought she was perfect. Then, out of nowhere, Dad passed away. A heart attack. I was devastated, but Vanessa? She barely shed a tear. It wasn't even a week after the funeral when she called me into the living room. She sat there all smug and polished like she'd been waiting for this moment. She said, "Lucas, you're an adult now. It's time you stand on your own. This house is too big for both of us. I think it's best if you find somewhere else to live." I just stared at her, stunned. This was my home, my dad's home. And here she was, treating me like an inconvenience. But you know what? I didn't argue. I just nodded, said, "All right," and left the room. You see, what Vanessa didn't know, what she never even bothered to ask, was that my dad had already sorted everything out before he passed. The house, the estate, the investments. It was all in my name, every last bit of it. I'd overheard part of the conversation she had with Dad's lawyer, and I knew she was under the impression she'd inherited everything. I decided to let her think that, at least for a while. Over the next few weeks, she made my life hell. She threw parties, brought her friends over, and acted like she owned the place. She even hinted that she was planning to start dating again. I stayed quiet, biding my time. Then, one night, she came home from one of her so-called charity events. She was wearing this slinky red dress, and she poured us both a glass of wine. "Lucas," she said, all sweet and syrupy, "I think we got off on the wrong foot. We're family, we need to look out for each other." I didn't say anything, but she kept going. "You're a handsome young man," she said, leaning in closer, "so mature for your age. I think we could understand each other better." I felt sick. She wasn't just trying to make amends, she was flirting with me. Her hand even brushed my arm, and her intentions were clear. I stood up so fast my chair nearly fell over. "You're drunk," I said. "Go to bed." But it didn't stop there. Over the next few days, she kept trying. Soft touches, lingering looks, even showing up in my room late at night, claiming she'd had a nightmare. It was disgusting. I knew I couldn't let this go on any longer, so I called the lawyer and set up a meeting. I didn't tell Vanessa the real reason, I just said we needed to sort out some estate matters. She showed up, confident as ever, probably thinking she was about to secure her grip on the house. When the lawyer started reading the will, her face went pale. Every word confirmed what I already knew. My dad had left everything to me. She wasn't mentioned at all. She turned to me, her voice trembling. "There must be some mistake." I just smiled. "No mistake," I said. "Dad saw through you long before he passed. He knew exactly what kind of person you were." She started stammering, trying to explain herself, but I wasn't done. I slid a set of papers across the table. "These are eviction papers. You have 24 hours to pack your things and leave." Her face twisted in fury, but she didn't have a leg to stand on. She stormed out of the office, humiliated and defeated, but I wasn't finished. As she was getting into her car, I walked up to her one last time. "Oh, by the way," I said, "I recorded everything. Every single one of your pathetic attempts to seduce me. If you ever try to cause trouble, I'll make sure everyone knows exactly who you are." The look on her face was priceless. She drove off without another word, and that was the last I ever saw of her. Now, the house is mine, just as my dad wanted. It's quiet without him, but I finally feel at peace. Justice was served, and Vanessa? She got exactly what she deserved.